Well, welcome everyone to the lovely little hamlet of Davis, West Virginia, in the year of our Lord 1914. Before you see some regular folk, or in some cases, highly irregular folk, um, who are just trying to go about their business and make their way in life and chop up whatever they find, whatever people find in the woods and sell it and make music that definitely isn't inspired by some sort of strange entity and be all weird and witchy and stuff. But, all those things aside, it's a lovely late spring, early summer day. The crickets are chirping. The grass is grown high. And our friends are all standing outside a ramshackle hut looking at a bed that a man died in, apparently. The body's no longer to be found. And neither are many of the other previous residents of the graveyard, who seem to have gotten restless recently and decided to have a little bit of walkabout in the area. So, hey, let's introduce our characters. Let's start with Mora.
Yes, Mora is one of the witchy characters from out of town. Got in a train crash, survived through mysterious means, and is now helping the rest investigate the strange happenings in this town. Sin.
Hi, I'm Sin, or sinful _ potato here on Twitch. I play Annie, who has a very strong intuition, definitely doesn't hear voices, and everything's fine. Yep.
I'm Kevin, playing Cameron Whitaker, who is the local magic and powder herb tonic potion man, trying to keep people safe and feeling good, whether that's normal or illicit, with a little bit of magic. Shanks?
Hi there, I'm the Shanks Master General. I'm playing Rick Schlink, who I guess their family was originally from Florensburg, Germany, but reside presently in Fredericksburg, Texas. He rides the rails, he makes music, and he also hears voices, but they're not as intrusive as Annie's, and he's not even fully aware that he's been experiencing them, but knows how to sing a song. Anyways, on to Misha.
Yeah, I'm Misha _lesson3. I'm playing Irene Roberts, local butcher, single, widow, definitely that one. And town gossip, kind of. People come and chat. We're all friendly here in Davis. And everyone's been staying at her place except for Cameron because he has a shack. But now we're at the graveyard because we're just looking around and making sure everyone's doing their jobs after this terrible accident. Except that everything looks bad here due to the blood and gushiness.
Yeah, I would characterize it as fluids.
Pus and viscera.
Yeah, maybe a little. Well, no. I think
just a bit.
I think someone is probably brave enough to take a look, right?
I believe I already had my look last session.
Okay, well, it's clear that what you're seeing isn't like blood stain. There's no sign of violence.
Oh, that's good.
It's just sort of the normal squishiness that happens when someone is passed on.
I can go take a look.
Okay.
It's fine. I'm really bad at looking, but I'm going to look anyway.
Yeah. If you want to get more information, that's obviously an intellect roll. I think I think it's probably difficulty 4, but I think your profession is going to ease that by 1. You've, after all, had good experience around riding meat.
Yeah. More often than one would hope, but it's fine. You just cut and put it aside and then be like, do you want the bad meat? It's not that bad. And people usually take it.
Yes.
Because we don't understand anything about health and safety.
Irene invented ground chuck. Just let you take a little bit of the fresh stuff and then throw in all the nasty stuff. Little bit of sawdust. And there you go.
There's a lot of sawdust around town.
There is.
The pulp mill's just giving it away.
I don't really want to investigate that hard, so I think I'm just going to roll. Since it's been eased down to
It's just a target number of 9.
9? Yeah.
Yeah. Got a better than 50-50 chance of succeeding.
Basically 50-50, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's basically 50-50. I got a 5.
Yeah. I mean, same info. I mean, you don't get any like precise clues, but it's clear that this is probably several days. It's been pretty warm recently. So you're going to guess a couple of days maybe. And yeah, no signs of violence. Maybe he just died. He was very old.
Yep. He's dead all right. I say, wiping my hands on my apron.
Right.
Mystery solved. We can go home.
You poke the bed with the same knife you use in the shop and then just like stick it back in. It's fine.
It's fine. It's normal. Well, guess we're going to have to find someone else to be the grave digger. I wonder who recently retired. Might be good, or at least, retired from the mill business or the mining business. Usually someone who's lost a few fingers.
Well, you heard that Mr. Matthew's back in town. Maybe he's looking for work.
Yes, I remember who he is.
Yeah. You probably remember, I think we established you remember a lot about what went on with Mrs. and Mr. Matthew. So hearing that he's back in town is probably a big surprise.
Yeah. That's right. It is a big surprise.
I think maybe everyone assumed that he had run off with someone totally unlike your husband, who definitely died in Canada, where there aren't any like death certificates or anything like that.
Yes, I don't think we have them here either.
I don't know.
No one needs that information.
No.
I think we're still just in the era where you can just kind of leave and start a new life somewhere. At any rate,
should we rifle through the corpse's pockets to see if there's anything of interest in it?
There isn't a corpse. There's just a stain.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I thought okay.
It's a goo.
It's clearly there was a corpse there. It's no longer there.
Okay. Well, who would move a corpse?
A grave digger?
Normally I'd say the grave digger.
I mean,
Can I also take a look around to see if there's any evidence? I am trained in perception, actually.
Cool. Well, what specifically are you looking for?
I think I'm just like what Rick was saying. If there's any evidence that the body was moved, did it just disintegrate into goo and there's nothing left, not even the bones?
Okay.
What happened? What happened here?
So just general, like, what's going on? Yeah.
What's going on?
Cool. Roll it up. I think it's still going to be difficulty 4, but again, but your perception training will ease it by 1. Target number 9.
Yeah, and I have edge and intellect, though I will use some points.
Okay.
Because I don't trust.
They're easy to get back.
I can only assume that the body dissolved into goo. I've never seen it happen before, but
it always is possible. 14.
Okay. So it's pretty clear someone died on the bed. And I think you can tell by like an accumulation of dried mud that like someone took off their muddy boots and laid down. And I think as you're kind of examining, you maybe look under the little cot bed and you see a bottle of whiskey laying on its side with just a little tiny bit still left in it. You kind of get a little of a whiff of a smell. It looks like maybe some of it spilled and the rest is just evaporated. But it does look like someone maybe kicked off their muddy boots and laid down with a bottle of whiskey until they passed out and then expired. The boots, however, are no longer there. Maybe someone took the body and the boots.
Maybe someone took the body and the boots.
Hard to get a nice set of boots sometimes.
And you
It's
see
easier to get a body in a graveyard, though.
Yeah, and maybe you see a similar kind of pile of dried mud where like maybe someone brought their spade in, leaned it up against the wall. The spade is also no longer there. So someone took a body, boots, and a spade. It's a strange kind of burglar.
Strange kind of burglar indeed. I explain all these findings.
None of this seems very comfortable to Cameron. I would like to be outside, just avoiding the general scene. But as an excuse to do that, just kind of looking for herbs and plants around the shack.
Yeah. Let's roll on that one. Are you just looking?
Trained in herbalism.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you just looking for just like, oh, is there some wild mint, cowslip kind of stuff? Soapwort's pretty common in this area. Are you looking for anything unusual?
Pokeweed, some. Mainly, I'm just looking to distract myself.
Okay. Difficulty 3. Obviously, you're gonna ease it with your training.
Trained in herbalism. I will roll that, and then I roll a 3.
Not distracted enough, it seems.
Yes.
There you go. Look, guys, I found some. It's like that is poison ivy. No, it wasn't a natural
Leaves
one.
of 3, let them be.
Yeah. No, it's pretty scrubby out here. For obvious reasons, although there have been some rain relatively recently, a few days ago. This is not necessarily in the wettest part because that would be a little bit problematic. So it's a little scrubby out here. There probably is actually a decent growth of something out by the latrine, or the outhouse.
There are some good mushrooms you can get out there, but I'd rather not right now.
Yeah.
I had a thought. Is there any sign of a forced entry?
Doesn't appear to be.
Okay, so no forced entry. It took his boots and a shovel. We had an ominous warning from Annie.
And someone went and dug up all those graves out there. So whoever it was who took this body dug up all those graves.
Yeah.
Says today's least genre aware person.
Maybe they stole the spade so they could dig up the bodies.
Well, what's somebody doing with a bunch of bodies?
Voodoo.
I don't know. Maybe we should just have a look around the graveyard, see if there's signs of anyone coming or going.
Do the graves that were dug up look like they were dug up with a shovel?
Not at all.
Okay.
No role necessary. Anyone who looks close enough would realize no implement was used to dig these up, or kind of, well, dig out of them.
So like finger trails in the dirt around
100%.
Okay. Yep.
Why did you look closer though?
We have to figure this out. I think the bodies are gone.
Yeah, we don't have the strongest lead right now. That does help.
So the spade and the boots walked off, seemingly unrelated to the bodies, which do not appear to have been dug up.
The only thing I can imagine is he had put his boots on after getting wounded and used the shovel as like a crutch of some sort. Maybe. I'm gonna take a look around the ground, see if I can find anything.
Cool. Why don't you perceive for me with, I think difficulty 5.
Oh, so I have to roll a 15.
Yeah.
All right.
I can tell you stuff that you see that's just like a no difficulty, but I think difficulty 5 to get something real interesting.
Is it magic related?
Not in the sense that talent would apply.
Okay. How about hearing and listening?
Yes. In this case, I think so.
So that'll ease it, but then I'm also going to... this is intellect, correct?
Yes.
Then I will spend 2 points to ease it. So that's difficulty 3. It's a 50-50 basically now. Here we go. What is that? Oh, that's a 7. Nothing.
I mean, you find stuff, but nothing of evidentiary value.
All right.
Like you can. I think you can probably tell there's some badly wilted wildflowers in one of the new in a little clay, like cracked clay pot in front of one of the newer graves. You can see one of the headstones. Not all these graves have headstones, but one of the headstones, actually quite old, has a series of little rocks stacked on top of it.
Interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna take this time to use one of my what are they called? Ciphers, the Midsummer Bundle, because I'm down quite a bit of intellect at this point.
You can just take a quick break, and because you've slept, so you can.
Oh wait, doesn't Cameron just give you a D6?
Yes, there's 2 things that I've got. I do have my perfect remedy, which since we're now past a rest, I can just as an action give you 1d6 points to a stat pool.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you could literally go sit under the tree for a minute and roll a recovery on intellect too. Whichever is the most. I would say whichever is the most renewable resource.
How renewable is the perfect your tincture?
It's basically just an additional recovery. I can do it once per character per 10 hours.
Okay. I'll just sit under a tree for a bit and relax.
Yeah.
Oh.
And open myself up to attack.
Allies who spent their last day with me add +1 to their recovery rolls.
Okay, cool. So it's a D6 plus 2.
Creatures who make a recovery roll within short range of me also get a +1.
So D6 plus 3.
So
we're just nice around here.
So pleasant.
We're just nice and pleasant.
So this is our real strength. It's just making things very relaxing and regenerative.
Yeah, there might be a dead body leftovers in this house here and graves that were dug out of with fingers. But how about you just sit down and have a nice sit, talk a spell about this and that, and it'll be all good.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sing a song, a very nice song. You know what? Let's bust out an anecdote and increase everybody's ability for perception. And it'll be a song about keeping your eyes open for various birds and various wildlife and how to hunt them and kind of just be good stewards. So that'll cost 1 point.
Okay.
I mean, after my
After
my
edge.
edge.
Yeah. So you are real good at spending effort only to fill the role and then recovering it all immediately. Okay,
Yeah.
I like it.
At the very least, I can contribute to everybody else's efforts.
Right. But you don't say, I mean, you see it's an unusual setting, but nothing really strikes your eye and you don't hear anything. Maybe a whippoorwill out in the woods.
All right, so what are we doing?
I don't suppose there are any tracks or trails leading away from the graveyard in a useful sort of way.
It might be. You skilled in tracking?
We have tried looking for it.
We have tried looking for it.
A lot.
Would you take wilderness navigation? It's like tracking.
I think if you want to go look in the woods, then wilderness navigation would apply.
Okay. How far away are the woods from the graveyard?
I mean, it's the graveyard and then maybe 10 feet that's been kept clear. And this isn't, this was never part of the deep woods. This was probably a clearing of some sort originally. So and when I say woods, I don't mean like the deep dark forest. It's just a kind of a growth of deciduous trees, lots of vines and suckers, probably a fair amount of rhododendron. A thicket, if you will. Do you want
Is there so I cannot craft anything magical, but I think we do have somebody who could craft something magical. Is there some sort of like old folk magic that we could craft to try to track somebody?
I don't see why not.
Like because is it Mora? Do you have the crafting and then I
do have the crafting.
You have the crafting, I have the using?
You have the using, I have the crafting. Well, I think you have the understanding. I can also use, but I don't understand how magic works.
Yes, I have a lot of understanding.
Are we trying to find the gravedigger? Because it seems like we have plenty of his belongings or former belongings to use for this craft.
Well, I would say this. Some general ideas spring to your minds, but Mora, maybe it occurs to you, you could always just ask a spider. Granny taught you a little charm. Find a spider.
Okay.
say the words to it. Set it free, and it'll weave an answer in its web.
Well, that is a thing that we could do, and it's a thing that my granny taught me to do, and I think that that's a good idea.
How about you go try to find a spider for me? Maybe out in that thicket.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I'll go try to find the spider in the woods. Well, you just hold tight, Cameron, and I'll find us a spider, and they can weave us an answer. So I head over to the woods.
Yeah. I'm sure no one is concerned by this at all.
I'm sure.
You say that, and Cameron's just like, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Do give me a perception, but I think it's just difficulty like 2.
Okay.
There's plenty of
Well,
spiders around.
I'm singing the song of perception right now. So that's
I have
reduced by
rolled a
1.
5.
Yeah. Which is eased by, but so you're
I am
started at
trained in
2,
perception.
and you're trained in perception. Well, you didn't even have to roll because of the song.
Oh, okay. Cool. It's easy. Thankfully, I can ignore that die roll.
You still would have made it on the die roll, but
Yeah.
you're good. You're good. I'm trying to remember. There's a name for this cipher. It's a real one out of the book. It's augury. Easy enough. Roll me a d6.
Okay. Three.
All right. So you have crafted. You've set down one of your ciphers, so you aren't bearing too many at a time. You have found a little orb weaver spider. You've reached into your little pouch and pulled out a thimble. And you've like taken a leaf and eased the spider down into the thimble, and then whispered your granny's words over it, and then kind of tipped it out where it kind of sat there waving its little legs, and then rapidly scuttled up a bush and then began weaving a web. It takes about 10 minutes, and you can see that it pauses every so often in weaving this web. Again, almost like it's sensing the surroundings, and then weaving whatever it finds into the kind of strange pattern that it's weaving. And then it finishes. And then it curls up and dies. Its task complete. It's always cost for magic. And now you can read it like tea leaves. So what are your 3 questions? For context, the web catches thoughts, secrets, and information about the general area up to about a mile, including creature, people, weather or goings on. And there is the questions kind of have to be a little bit simple, something that maybe a spider would understand, something that can be answered in just a few words, like 2 or 3 words.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your questions?
Where have all the bodies in the graveyard gone that have dug themselves up? Is that simple enough?
Yeah.
What killed the gravedigger?
Okay.
And I'm thinking of the 3rd question, if anyone has a suggestion.
Just where is the gravedigger?
Yeah, that's fair. We do want to know where he is too, in case he's not with the other bodies. Where is the gravedigger now? Or what's left of him?
You interpret the web down the valley. The devil drink and watching.
Watching? I don't like that answer. And down the valley is where the other bodies have gone. Devil drink seems a little more straightforward.
Just to be clear, the valley is the still lush part of the of the
Well, the
area, or is
answer
it...
isn't clear. You're aware of two valleys nearby. There's the Canaan Valley up north and east of here, place where they're just now making progress and cutting a track into it to log it. And then there's Blackwater Canyon. Kind of south
which
and
is
west
on
of here.
fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
You hear a rustling in the undergrowth near you.
Mm-hmm. What do I see anything over there?
You want to go over there and take a look?
Against my better judgment, I am going to go take a look.
You steel yourself, move over in that direction, and a rabbit leaps out at you and squeals, and then tears off across, kind of in between the graves in front of everyone. I anticipate you probably also make a little bit of a noise.
Yeah, I think so.
For everyone to hear.
An eep, if you will.
Yes. There are two eeps, just like a fifth apart.
Absolutely hair raising.
You're fired.
Boop, boop.
Negative inspiration.
Dang.
So I'm going to hurry on out of these woods back to where I assume everyone is waiting.
Yeah.
And I, share my portents and all that.
Yeah, y'all hear some eeps and little rabbit runs out and then more comes out. Wild hair, leaves, and twigs.
Did you manage to find anything, Maura?
Well, a rabbit for one, but the more interesting thing, what I learned from my charm is, and not all answers that you can read from a spider's web are straightforward. We got the bodies in a valley. I'm given to understand that there are two valleys. Maybe one is more likely to be where the cursed bodies go. We've got the devil's drink that killed the grave digger, and apparently he's watching us, or he's watching something. Just watching.
Watching us from heaven. Mm.
Would I happen to know what the devil's drink is? I do have some understanding magic, skill trained.
It's a colloquialism for booze.
Oh.
The spider is clearly part of the temperance movement and refers to liquor as the devil's drink.
Oh, we lost more.
Uh-oh.
All right. So that's a lot of good, useful information. Let's see. So basically, what are the corpses? Sorry, the bodies went down to the valley, which we're not certain. But if I were to guess, they probably would be in the more lush and verdant valley, just based on instinct.
Unless they're going back down to where they used to work.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good point.
That is compelling.
They're still on the clock.
Or someone took them. Someone took them to the place.
Right. Yes, of course. I mean, someone took them.
But the most upsetting part is that the gravedigger is watching. Where was his location? Oh, he's watching.
From heaven.
Watching?
It makes sense.
From heaven.
From heaven. Right.
Oh.
The kind old man did his job.
The spider also knew about Christianity.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's why he knows about the devil's drink. Who's the devil?
As we said, the temperance movement is where the spider is.
Yeah.
He attended a
Also
tent
watching us
revival
from
last
heaven.
year.
Okay, I saw some animals basically come back to life. Maybe that's something that humans can do as well now in this weird scenario. I mean, if you look at these graves, they weren't dug from the top side. They were dug from underside, I believe.
Well, that'd be impossible.
Would that be?
That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, the evidence suggests that they came from inside, but we don't need to litigate that. Should we go to the valley?
I'm trained in laws. Is that helpful?
You can sell if you can sell it. I don't see why not.
Would moving these bodies to international waters help our case?
Yes, no. Well, you see. Now, what were you saying?
That maybe we should go to the valley?
Go to the valley. I suppose so. We could go there.
Unless there's something else we can do that doesn't involve going to where all those bodies are. We should maybe have a plan before we go to where the bodies are.
Yeah, what time is it?
Oh, y'all lit out first thing in the morning, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, it might be time for an early lunch.
Right, let's head back to my
shop. You've been sitting here in this graveyard failing to see things for a good long while.
We've been looking for trouble, but we can't find it, so we might as well just go back to my place.
Right.
The longest horror movie is when they never notice anything bad happening around them, and then they all just go to bed. No, we'll head back to my place. We'll get a little something for lunch. Maybe pick up a few things before we go to the valley. It's a little farther.
And maybe we should check on your cellar while we're over there.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
I'm sure it is.
We leave the graveyard.
Okay.
Having perceived little.
Yeah. I mean, the camera sees the gravedigger still standing there, just watching you with those coal-like eyes in the shadows.
Just out of curiosity, how far away was the gravedigger from where Mora was in the woods?
I think you probably got within 10 feet.
Yeah, okay.
But you were upwind, so you didn't smell him. So you blithely trip back into town.
Do-de-do-do-do.
Have a little bit of a lunch.
Should we be telling anyone about the fact that we found the gravedigger's body?
Well, we found.
True, we found we presume the remains of his body.
If I see a proper authority, which would be sheriff, or to be honest, the priest, because he was asking about him, I'll mention that he seemed to be dead.
Well, you don't see the sheriff or the pastor, but you do see someone who exudes an air of authority. Dressed well, 3-piece suit, pocket watch, relatively shiny shoes, an air of, well, not to put too fine a point on it, contempt for all that he sees. He seems to be headed your direction, almost like he was coming from your shop. He doesn't seem to pay you much mind until he gets a little bit closer, and then his eyes sharpen and he kind of casts his gaze across your group and changes direction and moves towards you.
Well, hello there, sir. How are you today?
Well, good morning, ma'am. You wouldn't happen to be Irene, would you?
Oh, I am Irene.
That look just switches off like a light. And then there's a big, broad smile as he doffs his hat at you. The smile, of course, does not reach his eyes. Well, ma'am, I was just coming from your lovely shop. You see, I've been asked to come in town to investigate these unfortunate happenings with the train derailment.
Oh, with the train derailment. And you, sir, are the
You can call me Mr. Jefferson.
Mr. Jefferson.
With a P, dear, with a P,
nice.
Jefferson.
I was just making a mental note of that. With a P. I'm going to write the Jefferson. I skipped an E for sure when I wrote that down. The P threw me off. Yeah, so, well, it's nice to meet you, our acquaintance, even under these difficult circumstances.
Yeah.
Did you need to be let into the shop to look at?
No, ma'am, I was looking for you, or more precisely, I was looking for the fortunate survivors. I was told that they were staying with you.
Oh, yes.
Are these
Well, everyone
the
and we'll
survivors?
carefully split to point out the survivors and introduce them.
Well,
Howdy.
yeah, good morning to all of you. Well, I might take you up on your offer. If you might have some refreshment at your shop. It doesn't make sense for us to talk about these unpleasant things out here on the street. People might gawk.
They might, she says, noting quite a few people who stay downtown already are.
He stands a little uncomfortably close. He's also one of these people that has a habit of kind of flicking his tongue. Not quite licking his lips like they're dry.
Yep. Well, follow me right this way, Mr. Jefferson.
With a P, dear, with a P, Jefferson.
Ah, Jefferson, yes. Someday.
Well, while we're walking, tell me all about your town as we have a little montage of you walking. The little ding of the bell as you bring people into the shop. Do you take him up to your apartment? I'm sure you have a little card table or something you could all sit around. Or do you
Yeah,
want
I
to
think
have this
so.
conversation in the shop?
Probably not in the shop if he's mentioning refreshments. So you can probably go upstairs.
Hey, does anyone want to kind of keep an eye on him and see if they can pick up anything about what he's doing?
Oh, hell yeah.
Thinking?
Can I keep an eye on it?
Yeah, Annie. How about go ahead and give me, I think 3, a difficulty 3, target number 9. Maybe your voices say, I'd keep an eye on that one if I were you.
It's an 11.
Hey.
As you approach the shop, you see his eyes dart towards the cinder silhouette in the window. And it kind of catches your eye, and you kind of look back and forth. You can see that someone has drawn a finger through that silhouette. And you watch a little bit more as he kind of gestures for folks to precede him into the shop. You can see a greasy black stain on his fingertip.
Before I enter, I just want to pull out some, I pull out something from my pouch and I hold it out to him. Pick me up?
Oh,
Sorry, what happened?
I'm sorry. I thought you were asking me to pick you up. No, thank you.
I grab a chunk of basically chewy sap, shove it into my mouth, and say, "Are you sure?"
Absolutely.
Shrug and tuck it away.
Well, I don't mean to disrupt your day. Looks like y'all have been. Looks down at your dirty shoes. Looks like you've already had a busy one, and the day's not even half gone. So, I'll be brief. How was it that you just so happened to survive that derailment when everyone else aboard was killed?
I couldn't explain it.
Well,
Genuinely, I
try.
have no idea. I was unconscious during the derailment itself. I really don't know.
Well, tell me what you remember. Tell me especially who you remember.
I think I give an honest description of who was in the car with me. So some people from the town and also the representative from Babcock.
Oh, well, how did you know he was from Babcock?
Oh well, his briefcase was embossed.
You seem mighty observant.
Oh, I try to be.
And how about either of you two? Were you unconscious during this event?
Who do you work for exactly?
Well,
Like, who do you answer to?
the chief inspector.
Chief inspector of what? The police?
Railroad security.
Railroad security. Okay, so you're not from the government.
Well, we are authorized by the government, but our authority stems mostly from our responsibility to ensure that the railroads are well maintained and continue to function as the lifeblood of commerce in this great land.
Right. Nothing that I have to say would help you improve the lifeblood of commerce in this land. So I'm going to decline answering, if that's all right with you.
Oh, well, now. There's no reason to be unfriendly. We're just having a neighborly conversation. I'm just trying to find out what happened. It's such a tragedy.
It
And
is such a tragedy, but unfortunately, I don't know anything about it.
Interesting. Does anyone know anything about a lock on the carriage carrying the luggage and various different goods for delivery that appears to have been damaged? Could have been during the derailment. There was a significant amount of damage to many of the cars, but to my trained eye, looks more like someone was trying to get out or get in. Were you two maybe trapped? Did you maybe go back to the baggage car, maybe check on some things that you'd brought, found yourselves trapped when the train rolled over and then had to bust your way out? Or is there more to the story? He flicks his tongue. Cameron, he's someone who has a tendency to kind of keep one hand like almost over his pocket watch, and then has his right hand kind of behind him in the small of his back. you can see him twitching his fingers. And from those, because you kind of got to look behind him, and those in the front can see him sort of worrying at the, you assume, pocket watch in his waistcoat pocket. Rick, would you like to give me an intellect defense roll?
Oh, okay. What difficulty?
For him, it would be 5.
Oh, I don't stand a chance. Any relevant skills?
Lying, deception.
I'm not good at any of those things.
Hold on, I might be able to help you. I think, though, I'm just good at intellect defense and not you.
Oh, interesting.
But I am helpful, so I can try to help this awkward conversation out.
She's not doing it to help me. She's just doing it to facilitate the social fabric.
Yeah, and
It's like, oh, this would be so much more pleasant if you did this.
Well, that does sound like something that could have happened in the train carriage, isn't that right, Rick, Annie? That
All
you
right.
could have been back there looking for your luggage?
And with that, I will also spend a 3 points.
Okay.
Well, 2 total, but
Yeah.
To bring that down. So now I'm up back to a 3. Last time this didn't go well, but hey, it's a new dice roll. It's a new world. Let's see.
And Cameron, you definitely feel a whisper. Kind of like a rattlesnake's rattle. Like not when it's real mad, but when it's just soft shaking. You kind of get that sense that there's something going on, magical, mystical. What'd you get there, Rick?
I got 14.
You are not compelled to tell him all your deepest, darkest secrets.
Sorry, and the sense that I'm getting, like, is he doing something?
100%.
I actually have an inability on charm, persuasion, and deception. So this is a very very awkward like approach, and really like forcing myself into this. But I approach, and I kind of like grab his hand, and I'm just like, oh, you got the finger twitches. I got something for that. I kind of like try to pull his hand out and grab something from my bag and just like start smushing some like tarry mush onto his palm.
I think he will 100% jerk his hand back and then hiss at you. Like eyes narrow.
Full-blown cat hiss?
Just, why? Thank you for your help, but it's just a nervous habit. Nothing you need to worry yourself about.
I've seen it a dozen times. You just rub that into both hands and let it sit there for no more than like 3 hours.
Well, I'll keep that in mind as he pulls out a handkerchief, wipes it all off, and then just drops it on Irene's floor. So, where were we? You were mysteriously unconscious and can't remember anything, and then you two were equally mysteriously back in the baggage car and found yourselves trapped there and had to bludgeon, force, shoot your way out. Is that the story that we're all going with?
That. I don't recall saying that.
But it does sound like what might have happened.
This gentleman's allowed to think whatever he wishes.
Well, he is investigating a train crash.
It's not really my job to come to any conclusions. It's just my job to gather the facts and the evidence and report back to my betters. Let them decide what's to be done if anyone is at fault. Think of me as a neutral party. He just kind of slowly glances at all of you.
For the
Well,
record,
yes.
I don't think being unconscious is that mysterious when there was a train crash. Head injuries can cause that sort of thing.
Oh, do you have a head injury?
Might do.
Well, you should get that looked at. Maybe your doctor friend can rub some mud on it.
It might help, yeah.
Well, I think I've taken enough of your time. Maybe if you think on it real hard, you might remember something useful. Do be sure to come
Anything's
find
possible.
me. I've taken a little office in the bank building, right next to the switchboard operators. In fact, always interesting to listen in all these newfangled inventions, enabling folks to talk over great distances almost instantaneously. It's amazing what one can accomplish, the free flow of information. So you know where to find me if you decide that you remember something that I might find interesting. And then he just kind of, thank you for your hospitality, Miss Irene. And then just sort of backs out of the room and lets himself out.
That was weird, right?
Probably to 100% go and call somewhere. I found him.
Yes, he was highly unpleasant. Yes. What were you doing, Cameron? I know you got enough sense not to just smear potions and poultices on people.
No, his fingers were doing something weird. I don't know. I guess with my specialized understanding magic, is there something that I can try to piece together with what I observed and what Rick observed?
Yeah, 100%. I think, I mean, you'll get some information as long as you're all like very, very badly. You'll get some information regardless, but let's say difficulty 4 to get some interesting information.
Right. I will go ahead and use 2 points to ease that.
Can I help him? I also have understanding magic, and like, is that how that works? Like, I can.
You know why not?
Because
Because you kind of saw what was happening in front. He saw what was happening in back. So why not?
Right. Okay.
Great.
So this makes it pretty easy.
14.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't need it,
You
but
think
good.
at first he must have been activating a cipher. But then you think to the feeling that you had. No, that was something different. That wasn't the kind of momentary hedge magic. That was some item of substantial and lasting power. Artifact. And I think with that role, you know, they're not totally uncommon, but they are often quite dangerous to use. All magic comes at a cost, but powerful and lasting magic comes often at a greater cost, and there's a bit of a almost addictive nature to it where you use it and then that cost comes due. There aren't many people walking around casually using that kind of magic. They tend to be fools or dangerous, and he did not strike you as a fool.
And the cost of magic usually is life, isn't it?
Oh, it varies.
It varies? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it just makes him extra weird and creepy.
Could be. Well, there's a fiddle that you can use to sway people's minds and hearts. All you gotta do is feed it souls. Some artifacts do require, crass things like sacrificing life. Usually it's deeper and more painful cost. And sometimes that cost can be borne by others.
Okay. I'm just thinking that I was just thinking that maybe that the workers of the Babcocks of the lumber mill of the company were the ones paying a price, but what was the spell that they were paying the price for? That's my thought process out loud. I mean, now that we're all acknowledging that there's magic at play here.
I mean, I assume I was actually downstairs getting sandwiches while you all talk serious business about magic. And then I'm up with the cold cuts being like, here you go. And you're like, yeah, the magic. I'm like, what?
Yeah, we cut downstairs. You got that big butcher knife and a big vat of mayonnaise and just smeared it all over bread.
Yeah. Perfect. And you all have your serious magic discussion while the person who's going to keep saying, I don't understand. That's fake. Sure, I have a couple of these charms that my grandma gave me, but that's just superstition. Just hear that on repeat. Anyway, keep talking.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I don't really know how all this works, but that sounds like it could be an explanation.
I don't know. It's just an idea at this point. In any case, we should probably go and investigate the valley to confirm some of these suspicions.
I agree. And before we go, I think we should look in the cellar just to see if those other bodies have gotten up and walked away.
Check the cellar and see if the sheriff has come back from where I sent him.
Oh yeah, you want to head over to the jail or his office? Cool.
Yeah.
So Cameron's going to head over and talk to the sheriff and see if he's come back from his no doubt fruitful visit with Miss Matthew. And Maura's going to go down by herself into the cellar. Is that what I heard?
I will accompany Mara.
Okay. Maura and Annie.
Rick is going to go down there too, but like
Okay, so everyone else
mildly
crowds into the
protesting.
cellar.
The cellar is spooky.
Look, the cellar potentially has a deer that's going to kill us.
It could. I feel like since you're still in my shop, I should also go into the cellar with you.
Okay, so Cameron hears, we're all going to go to the cellar. He's like, okay, I'm out.
I'm sure whatever the sheriff says will be less weird than the cellar.
So Cameron heads. So we'll do it in kind of a bouncing back and forth. Cameron, you head off. The camera will follow you for a minute. It's Davis isn't that big. I mean, it's got a couple thousand people in it, but it's still pretty walkable. You head over, and in fact, you see Mr. Jefferson speaking with the sheriff. The sheriff appears to be skeptical of whatever he's being told. And that just means Mr. Jefferson's smile widens even further. And he leans in a little closer until finally the sheriff says, you're kind of be so fine. We'll make folks available, but you better make sure that you know what you're doing because this is still my jurisdiction. Mr. Jefferson, like without moving his head, slides his eyes in your direction, smiles even further, and then walks off. The sheriff kind of looks like he wants to wipe himself off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Sheriff, I see you
Cameron,
messed.
yeah.
You met Mr. Jefferson with a P.
That I did. Strange fellow.
Yeah. Do you find anything out at Massey's?
Well, didn't find I didn't find Mr. Matthey. Didn't find Miss Matthey. Did they maybe I looked around, see if maybe maybe she'd flown off the handle, seeing him back after all this time. I can confirm that we all know she keeps that sawed off up there. That's not there, but and did confirm that someone had been digging in a garden. Maybe wild pig or something. But looks like she's just out and about roaming. Or maybe what you saw was they fought and then they made up. Maybe he came back to get her, take her off to the big city. Don't know.
Do I get the vibe right now that if I was just like, let's grab people and I'll try to take you to the point of the woods where I saw this, that he would go along with it at all, or is he just done?
I think the sense you get, and it's kind of the sense that you got when you first reported it, was he is perfectly willing to believe that maybe something went down. I mean, not like bodies that have been buried in the garden for a long time coming up and then stuff happening. But he's perfectly willing to believe that something bad went down. But like he's also in the midst of a huge disaster, threat to the flow of goods into town. He's got a lot on his plate and is like kind of trying to subtly signal like maybe there's all kinds of different reasonable expectations, but didn't find a body, didn't find an obvious evidence of a crime that requires mine or my deputy's intervention. So, I mean, thanks for bringing it to my attention. And word to the wise, Cameron. You might want to distance yourself from Miss Irene's guests. Our friend Mr. Jefferson has it in his head that at least one or two of them may have been involved in the derailment.
They seem like good people to me, Sheriff.
Well, they seem like mighty strange people to me, but I agree. I don't see how, even if they were up to no good, I don't see how they could have caused what we all saw. It's not like a couple of rail jumpers could cause all that. But
it takes a lot of energy to derail a train like that.
But Jefferson has it in his head that there's foul play. And my guess is he's looking for a scapegoat.
Got it.
Now, can I trust you, Cameron?
Of course, Sheriff.
All right, well, he says he has some more evidence to gather, but he's asked me if I would lend him some deputies if he decides it's necessary to lay hands on the survivors. Perhaps ship them off somewhere else where they can be interrogated by his superiors.
Well, Sheriff, I trust in you to consider whatever evidence he brings and to do the right thing.
And I trust that you would never, I don't know, accidentally let it be known. Like
Well,
it would
of
would
course.
be very important that you don't accidentally tell those individuals that someone is trying to fix them up, lay the blame on the derailment on them just because they happen to be not from around here. I mean, that would be certainly none of my business. I just follow the law, and it's certainly not your business. You're just a healer man. So as long as we're clear that neither of us has any reason to interfere with this investigation or in any way give those travelers any warning that they are under suspicion and might want to make themselves scarce.
Exactly. Is this a wink wink nod nod type?
He is
thing
not.
that
He is not winking or nodding.
Okay.
He's
no,
just
yes,
saying what he's saying.
Of course, Sheriff. Of course. No,
Well, I always knew you were an upstanding citizen there, Cameron.
Yes. I will pull out a pouch of tea and give it to him.
Well, the missus will appreciate this.
Yeah, thank you for going and taking a look, Sheriff, and have a great day.
Is it a little blue tea? Sorry. He's of that age. But anyway. Cut to the basement. As there's been a little bit of, we should probably clean up after lunch. Oh, well, actually, I should probably. As everyone's kind of delaying going down into the cellar. But eventually, you make your way down to the cellar. It is getting a little whiffy in here. Not too bad.
Okay. Body's still there then?
Well, yeah.
Still by the wall? Looking dead?
All 4 of them?
All 4 of them?
Broadly speaking.
You wouldn't happen to know if these were company workers, would you?
I don't think they were from around here. I didn't really get a look at any of them on account of them being dead bodies.
Well, Maura remembers having been very observant, listening for all the hot goss on the long train ride. Remembers that at least all the people she saw had some connection to the company.
Interesting. That's some interesting information.
Maura, since you're so curious about the bodies, do you want to investigate them?
Yeah, I'll investigate them.
Roll it up. I think it's just... Oh, no, it's difficulty 3.
Okay. Trained in perception?
Yeah. We have boons.
I rolled a 1.
You definitely... would it be interesting? Oh, that... let's keep that because that gives me a free intrusion.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I think as y'all are talking about all this, you watch as Maura goes over and kind of one by one peeks under the makeshift shrouds, confirming, yeah, super dead. You don't maybe notice a few little odd things. And you're just about to pull the shroud back over the face of the last one when it sighs at you. This slow, rattling exhalation, carrying with it a cloud of cinders. Would you give me an intellect defense roll?
All right. Is this just a flat roll for intellect?
Yeah, it's going to be, oh, geez. Okay. I think because they're that level, but I think this is probably boosted. I think it's probably a 5.
Ooh.
Okay.
So it's just an intellect roll.
Okay. So you can't spend anything to make this one better?
Yeah, it's just like any other roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm probably gonna spend some pool since I have edge and intellect. I don't know if there's anything skill-wise that would make the cinders blowing at me better, to be honest. So I think I'll roll from there.
Yeah.
I rolled another one.
Perfect.
Oh no!
Perfect.
Ouch!
Giving the GM all sorts of opportunities.
So you all see as this slow sigh escapes the corpse's mouth, the cinders floating up to Mora's face. Mora kind of takes a step back, and then you see it's not instantaneous, but you see this liquid line of blackness work its way up Mora's eyes until they are shiny black orbs. Mora stands straight, back arched, head up, arms down at her sides, rigid in the center of the cellar. There's a bit of a high whining keen that escapes Mora's throat. She rises onto her tiptoes and then rises higher, losing contact with the ground as she shakes and shudders and begins to speak. The king's throne, crown of ashes, gathering subjects, fire, awaken. The green holds, but not for long. Burn, 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 a world of ashes and cinder, black skies, poison air. And this kind of continues. What Mora sees is it's almost like you fall a foot and kind of land on a dusty, almost like snow, kind of powdery, but gray. You immediately smell the smell of burning. It's foggy, misty, smoky, hard to see distance. You see a few twisted corpses of trees. And you see an orange light kind of diffused through that smog in front of you. You stumble forward. You feel heavy, like your feet are dragging, like you've been walking for days. There's a gnawing hunger in the pit of your stomach, the kind of hunger, it's not so much an ache as it is a burn. You feel weak and shaky, like you can't go on. You almost stumble a few times. You kick something up out of the ash, thinking it's a rock. It's a deer's skull, bleached white, but half blackened. You struggle forward, occasionally having to brace yourself against one of these burnt trees until the air seems to clear. Above you is a featureless black sky. In the center of this clearing is another twisted tree, not fully blackened, but no green left. Caught in that tree, enwrapped by its flesh, by its bark, by its trunk, is a familiar looking individual. A man you met once on a train. He seems to be, his eyes are closed, but you can tell he's alive. He seems to be waiting. He isn't struggling, at least not outwardly, but you can feel a powerful tension in the air. As you stand there, you hear shuffling and see emerging out of that wall of smoke into this darker, clearer area, well, people, or what used to be people. Eyes like smoldering coals, encircling. That you have a feeling he's drawing them here. For what reason, you don't know. Mora, back in the cellar, drops to the floor, just boneless. I'm going to need you to roll a d6 for me.
1. I'm consistent.
Cool.
I go to tend to Mora, who apparently was going through it for a bit there for a second. And I'm like, Mora, are you okay? What's wrong? Oh, of all the times for Cameron to not be here.
Yeah, the magical happenings are occurring.
I think you kind of smack Mora's face a little bit, eyes open, the black is gone. You have lost 6 from your pool, from your intellect pool.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I gasp back into consciousness and start babbling. The man on the train, and he's in a tree, and he's waiting for the bodies. The bodies are going to him, and we've got to stop that from happening. We've got to stop the bodies, the bodies that are going to the tree.
Where? Sorry, what tree? Where's this tree? What?
It's just full of smoke. There's trees, what's left of trees, the husks of trees. There's ashes.
Is Irene down here with us?
Yeah, I'm just like, what just happened?
Is there like a special tree that burnt down or something?
A special tree that burned down. Well,
I guess
if you
Cameron
ask some
would be...
people, all trees are special, but really they're just lumber. So
I feel like this is a question for Cameron and not for Irene.
you would probably be correct. He spends a lot of time around trees. Now, let's just see if we have something to fix you up here before Cameron gets back. Maybe just sit a spell, maybe go upstairs, away from the bodies.
Yeah. I think that would be good.
Yeah.
All right, up we go.
Annie, I think you see one of the, underneath the shroud, one of the body's foot moves very slowly. A small movement. And then it's still. And then that voice. They're almost awake.
I repeat, they're almost awake.
While staring at the bodies. Yep.
Oh, thank you, Annie. That is so kind and comforting to hear.
I don't think we got any time for me to sit a spell. I think we gotta go.
Well, then you just drink some of the good stuff that he left here.
Right. And Cameron, you can
I got
obviously
it
behind
right.
the
you
counter.
can arrive at any time.
What was that?
I was just saying Cameron can arrive at any time.
Yeah. Show up a little bit after this, looking around for everyone.
I assume at this moment is when we're all exiting the basement, the cellar quickly.
Great. Hey, everyone. We should go upstairs and have a conversation.
Oh,
You know what would be great is if we all went on a little adventure somewhere else. Can you help Mora out, dear? She's had a bit of a fright, a possession, maybe.
Yes, of course. I'll go over and put my arm around Mora, make sure she's steady on her feet and everything. Use my charmed touch.
Yeah.
Which is it's an intellect point, but I have edge. It is a difficulty 2 intellect task.
Do you want some help?
Sorry, so it's a difficulty 2 task. So that'd normally be 6. But it's an intellect task. Does my edge still apply on that?
Edge only applies to the cost. So it applies to any time you spend intellect.
Okay. Got it. Great. Then yes. I rolled a 4.
We have boons.
We have a boon if you would like.
Use them or
I
lose
think we have a
them.
couple.
It all it does is make it so the next time that I try it, it's hindered by 1.
Okay.
And so I'll take that. My first words don't work. But you also haven't used my perfect remedy. So my talking doesn't work. I can't say anything comforting to you, but I can pull out some special chewing gum and give that to you for a D6.
I'm just envisioning that you try to comfort me, and I'm just babbling about the tree and the ashes until you shove something in my mouth.
Here.
So, and I'm gathering things like we're going to go to the valley because I assume that's where the tree is. And also, Andy just said the bodies are almost awake, so we cannot stay here. Probably because that was weird. So
Irene's starting to
gathering
believe.
things to go.
You're starting to believe, Irene.
And more.
I mean, I believe something's weird. Do you know anything about trees, Cameron? Like a big special one that might have burned down out in the valley?
I know about a lot of trees and a lot of trees that have burned down.
Yeah.
I guess, do I know something, or could my herbalism let me know something about a particular tree?
I don't see why not. I mean, you're local to this area. You probably have been in the canyon since, well, before it all got chopped down and burnt.
Yes, I start listing my favorite trees.
Yeah, I think give me obviously intellect, maybe like a 4.
Right. I'm just gonna hope that the dice balance out. Right. There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
there's a lot of low rolls tonight.
You're fine.
You said 4, which my edge turns into a 3, which would mean a 9, and then I go and I roll a 6.
Listen, I want to learn more about trees.
I mean, you can
You
try
want me to zoom in
again.
on
It's
this
just gonna hinder it by 1.
Oh yeah, we do have a decent amount of boons there now.
Yeah, you could just spend a major boon to re-roll that.
Roll above a 10 challenge.
Great. Difficulty impossible. Yes, I will use a major boon.
Hooray.
I'll type that up for you.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
I roll 1 lower.
Okay.
Oh,
Challenge impossible.
Challenge level is impossible.
yeah. I think. Yeah, you're aware of some trees. You know?
You're asking about
There are
one
many
special
trees.
tree, and I know so many special
Yeah.
trees.
It's like, who's your
Oh,
favorite
yeah,
kid?
Anyway,
There's
I
always
got
an
all
answer for
my
that, though,
stuff
isn't there?
Yeah.
packed up. We should head to the valley like we were thinking about.
I'm just gonna ask more quickly. It's like, was the area the burnt down valley, or was it the verdant valley, the one that's still
There were only ashes and dead trees.
okay?
Yep.
I think then we
Sounds
go down to
good.
the burnt down valley, which is the canyon, I believe.
Yeah, it'll be fine. So, did you need anything else while you're here, Cameron? I mean, you can come with us. It's all right.
Oh no, yeah, I'll definitely come with. I'd like to go and grab a few things from my shack on the way down and out of town. Just restock. I've been handing some stuff out.
We can say it's on the way.
Great.
Convenient.
That's all I got.
All right.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Can I take some of Irene's like kitchen knives?
We cannot arm sin. I mean, yeah, go
it's
ahead.
knives, not fire. It's probably fine.
Yeah, it's probably fine. Oh yeah, there's plain knives. You can't have this one, she says about her big old butcher knife. But I have a few knives for protection around here if you want to take some with you. Hopefully to return them. Knives do not grow on trees. But it's probably best to be armed, she says, definitely also bringing her shotgun.
The voices
going to the
sometimes like to be stabby.
It's important to know what to stab, I guess. All right.
So you pack up quickly, shove some things into some bags, and he goes and grabs a unnecessary number of knives. Kind of scuttle out into the afternoon. It's late enough in the day that while the sun hasn't set, the town, or at least your part of it, is in shadow because of the mountain. And the temperature has dropped significantly, so you step out and there's a real chill. You're not quite sure how much of it is due to the temperature and how much of it is due to the recent events and your destination. But you made good time. So I think as we see your group move with purpose out of town and up towards Cameron's cabin, we see that not that far behind you is Mr. Jefferson with a couple of reluctant looking but large deputies following him. And perhaps you are not quite out of earshot to hear banging on the door. Now come on, Miss Irene, don't be difficult. We just want those visitors and we'll leave you alone. But you're scot-free, at least for now. Cameron, is there anything in particular that you gather at your cabin?
No, just refresh my herbs, but it was also an excuse to make sure that we weren't around prying ears when I do go and inform them of the conversation I had with the sheriff. There's that Jefferson guy with the peas. He is very suspicious of the three of y'all, and is going to try to get the sheriff to come and pick you up and take you somewhere.
Huh.
I mean, it's almost like
So-
someone wasn't cooperative.
Look, Rick is not cooperative with private security.
I imagine being on the rails as much as you have, you've learned.
I've learned a thing or two about about not talking.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, you load up your various traveling gear. It's not too hard for anyone who's local. I mean, it's just go down. We see a montage as you pass by the falls. Now y'all gonna follow the river. That's certainly the easiest way of making sure you don't get lost. Don't have to, but that would be the easiest.
That's probably what I do.
All right.
Makes sense.
Well, I think we get a montage of you heading to the falls, working your way down the river. You reach an area where like fire has swept through, but there's a little bit of regrowth. Like maybe fire swept through last year. And so you've got kind of some low growth trying to struggle. Cameron, this is not a way that you go much because there's not much here that you can harvest for your work. But I think it doesn't take any roll to realize that the growth here is stunted in a way that it shouldn't be. Like you've seen forest fire before, and you know how riotous that growth can be. This is sickly. Yellow.
I'll definitely point that out. Let everyone know that, there should be, not a lot of great stuff down here, but there should be more.
Almost feels like the two are fighting. And then the green stuff ain't doing so well. But that's just what I'm thinking right now.
It gets to be about time to camp.
Great.
Rick's pretty familiar with living rough, given his life, his hobo style life. So I don't know. We probably don't want to fix and make a fire, too big fire or anything like that. That'll probably attract suspicion. But we might want to settle down at some point. Well, what are you thinking, Cameron? Irene? Maura? Annie?
Whew, I guess I forgot how far it was to get to this valley. I'm not too sure if I packed enough food.
Yeah, also feeling a little underprepared. No, that's get a low fire, dig it in a little bit. Don't use anything that's going to be too bright, too smoky. Just make sure that we get a little bit of warmth, and we should be fine for a night out here.
You gather some of the drier growth, toss it in, find a partially burnt log, and you're able to build a fire. The smoke is rank. That fresh growth doesn't burn clean, but it's warm, provides light. Enough light for Mora to notice something. Well, you have that fine, almost pearlescent tracery from where the vines grabbed you. Kind of just going about your business, and you occasionally, still it's relatively new, so you occasionally stop and look at it, kind of looking at the way that it almost catches the firelight. And then you look at your other hand, and there's something different. It's darker. Some sort of charcoal, gray-black tint. Darkest near the fingers, slowly lightening up to that same pearlescent white up by your elbow.
Well, that seems like a terrible sign. I think I sidle up to Cameron. And I say something that I didn't want to say around prying ears. Is that I think it's the green that done saved me when the train crashed, and it left these marks on me. And I show him the blackened hand, but it didn't look like this before.
I'll taking a look at the firelight. Anything that I recognize, understand?
Well, it's pretty magic.
Is there any reason why you think it would go out of its way to be protecting you?
Well, I didn't ask for it not to kill me when the train was being attacked by it. And when I had that vision, I suppose, possession, if you will, it seemed like the green was running out of time to deal with whatever this is here. I'm not sure. Maybe this is just another manifestation of that. I don't know if there's anything to do about that except hurry.
Hurrying seems to be the right answer.
It does feel like that dark is spreading, Mora.
Is it like visibly moving as I'm looking at my hand? Or is it just the thoughts?
No. Unless it's a trick of the light. Maybe. Could all be in your head.
I just don't think it might not be smart to make camp for long, because I think we're running out of time.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Get up, as soon as we can start seeing where we're going.
So everyone has a lovely night. Everyone tucks themselves into their little, I don't know, bedrolls, blankets, whatever you brought.
And
I guess so.
What was it?
Till dawn.
Am I able to use insight again?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make what's the word again? Intrusion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the songs again. I took one of your lines from earlier and I kind of built on it. So it's Rick comes up with a new lyric, the last stanza, but it comes out, the king's throne, a crown of ashes, fights the golem of the greens, left behind a plant leaves lashes, aid the valley, crown a queen. And does that kind of feel like an appropriate kind of
It is now.
for the song? It is now. All right, cool. And that's my intrusion.
Everyone comes awake. I think the howling in the night probably woke a few people. Enough that maybe folks drew closer to the embers of the fire, put hands on firearms and purloined kitchen knives. Nothing rushes out of the darkness to accost you. Does seem odd, Cameron, that you would have wolves or something very much like wolves down here in the canyon. Can't be that much prey for them. But they leave you untroubled for now. More of the darkness is 100% spreading.
Yeah.
When you wake up, it's quite clear.
Yep. I'm Jocelyn, never in awake, getting the camp cleaned up. Let's get moving. Sun's up. We're up. We don't have time to cook breakfast.
No breakfast, but I brought all of this uncooked bacon with me.
We can have some bread or something we can walk with.
Well, yeah, there's bread, but
Gotta keep
what am I supposed to do with my frying pan?
Hit something with it.
Right. Irene says, raw bacon's probably fine.
Probably. You have rare meat. It's been warm.
Yeah, and no one knows how to spell trichinosis, so therefore it doesn't exist.
Correct.
Right, so you break camp real early. And then montage, we continue the trek. You start to enter an area where there's ash mixed in with the dirt and the rocks. As you continue down further, you come across patches, almost drifts of ash that have blown. The rain a few days ago seems to have tamped some of this down, almost creating like a crust. But as you step into it, there's like a little puff of ash. It's not enough to choke, but enough to make your throat feel real dry. But the river's right there. It's easy enough to wash your mouth out when you need to. Where are y'all going?
I assume that we're following the river and looking to either Cameron or Mora for a lead on when they want to deviate from the river. See if this jogs memory of trees.
Yeah, is anything from was my vision prescriptive? Is there any vibes that I get?
Now, you don't really understand how magic works, do you?
I do not understand how magic works.
Well, that's going to be hard for you.
With all of their powers combined.
We just shove our brains together.
Mind meld. You know what? When we don't know where to go, we turn to Annie and say, what does your intuition tell you?
That's true.
Maybe something other than they're almost awake would be delightful.
I think, Annie, and tell me how you feel about this. And I think Rick also experienced a little bit the voices and connection that you feel, I know Annie feels this much more strongly, feels attenuated. Like the voices are in church and don't want to raise too much of a ruckus. There's a not quite respectful quiet, but more like you don't want to attract too much attention. Still there. I think the voices are telling Annie, or at least some of them saying, just follow the river out of this place. Go to Parsons, make a new life, leave this place. I think maybe a few of the other voices are excited. The voices that usually kind of want to see the world burn seem to be warming to this place. Mora, can I offer you a bargain?
You can.
Well, if you'd like to have a way to find the king on his throne, I can make that happen. It's going to cost you.
All right. Well, I would like to have a way. What will it cost?
You don't get to know the cost before the bargain.
Of course.
It's not how it works.
All right. How do we conduct this bargain then?
Well, you just have to accept.
All right. I accept.
All right. Well, take an XP and choose someone else to give an XP to.
We'll give it to Rick.
Okay. Thank you. Oops. I could almost level up. Thank you.
Maura, you don't know how any of this works. Maybe you don't want to know how any of this works. Because as a kind of knowledge starts to fill your mind, it is uncomfortable. You start to, as you look at your hands, one with shining tracery, one with increasingly dark, dusty, almost vein-like markings, you feel a deep duality, a deep struggle between not the good and evil that your granny taught you about, but by forces much older and who care very little about human moral judgment. And just as the darkness is growing on your flesh, you feel the darkness growing here. And you don't know how, because you don't want to know how, but you can tap into that darkness to find its source. Well, maybe not its ultimate source, but a current focus of its intent. Pretty sure they ain't going to be good for you.
It's not, but needs must.
Great.
Yeah, I'll tap into this force and lead the way towards it.
You feel it's almost like all it takes is a thought, but it's almost like your heart shifts in your chest. Like you can feel it almost moving. Like something, maybe not your physical heart, but something in you shifts and pulls. It's not entirely unpleasant. And you can now watch as those black veins move. And there's more to it as you hold your hand up. You can see in those veins little flecks of orange, little glowing cinders. The rest of you watch as Mora kind of instinctively casts her hand around. And as you point up across the river, you can feel almost a tug, and those cinders flare, burn. Take a might point, please.
Okay.
There's a pain, also not entirely unpleasant. A little bit of smell, a little bit like bacon, as the veins sizzle. That's the direction.
I flex my newly sizzling hand, and I say, "All right, we go this way," and lead the way.
So Mora walks off, hand faintly smoking. What does everyone else think about this?
Questions?
I'm cool with it.
I have a few questions. What happened to you, Mora?
We need to know where to go. I figured out where to go.
Okay, I'm more concerned about the methodology here.
I wouldn't recommend it, but we have to hurry.
Okay, I guess the time is of the essence. Rick's not completely convinced, but he does trust Mora enough to trust that the time is very important at this stage.
Concern, and as we're going along, I'll be grabbing a couple things, mixing some stuff in my bag, try to make some sort of salve that I can put on her hand.
Can I in any way understand what happened to Mora, or is that beyond my ability?
You can try.
Okay, well, I do have understanding magic.
Yeah.
So that helps.
Roll it up.
What's the
I
DC?
think it's a 5 to get
So
like a full
goes-
understanding. Yeah, 5.
I'm not going to make a huge effort here, but I'll take the 4, so I got to beat a 12.
Yeah.
16.
Oh.
Ah.
Well, I think the sense you get is that Mora opened herself up to something in a moment of desperation on that train to save herself when it was about to wreck.
Hmm.
And I think sometimes when you open yourself up, it's hard to close down again.
Right.
And I think you realize something else has taken root in Mora. Some piece of whatever was slowly waking up the victims has found fertile soil in Mora. And now
Rick.
there's
Sorry, go ahead.
there's a little bit of a tussle over which one's going to win.
Rick clams up about this because he feels a similarity with his own situation. Not exact, but similar enough. And he just kind of continues.
So I think we see a montage. Mora, take 5 more might.
Ow.
Cameron's salves don't seem to be of much use. And from the elbow down, they kind of burn off as he rubs them on. What's weird, Cameron, is that there's no heat. At least none that you can feel. But now, at least from the wrist down, it looks like, you know, sometimes the heartwood of a tree will catch on fire. You'll see cracks in the blackened trunk and then just little glow in between. It's Mora's hand. But it does lead you unerringly, Mora. Everyone feels an oppression, a quiet, but like the quiet before chaos, as if the world is holding its breath to scream in madness. At times you see deer, wolves, just on the edge through the growing haze. Something off about them, pale, maybe a couple too many eyes, but just glances. They seem to be shepherding you, if anything, helping to guide you on your way. And then, like it was nothing, you crest a little ridge, and then down there in this shallow hollow is the twisted stump of a tree, surrounded by pillars of ash, vaguely reminiscent of human forms, in a loose circle. The porcelain skin and fine silky hair of that sophisticated gentleman from the train partially protruding from the encircling wood, almost like he's napping. But that thrum is ever present. Power, struggle. What happens?
This is too spooky. So I grab from a pocket a chip of wood from an old door that was painted blue. I break it in half, and I slip half in each of my pockets.
And what does that do?
Which, well, hopefully mentally wards me against them, but actually I gain armor equal to the cipher level against damage from all malevolent magical creatures, including witches, demons, ghosts, and spirits. I don't know what those are, but they're weird ash people. Surely this is going to help me.
Sure. What level is the cipher?
2.
Okay. Pretty good. What's everyone else doing? I will say, Cameron, you are very aware that there is another presence here that you cannot see.
Seeing Irene get ready, I will pull a necklace of deer teeth and dried elderberries out of my bag and put that on as well, and say, look, we're looking at some spooky stuff, but there's something here that we can't see as well.
I draw a gun.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
I
You
use
can
my.
just go ahead.
I use the magic of my gun and hold it up.
Okay.
It's level 6, I think. 6 shooter.
Yeah.
I don't know if this cipher will be applicable here, but it's related to seeing things that can't be perceived, that Cameron has mentioned. You can take the lid off the bottle and hide it somewhere that it can't be found. So I'm wondering if there's like a hollow in a tree or something, somewhere I could place this bottle nearby in this area.
I think we can retcon and say that you did that, like on your
Sure.
way up. Because
Yeah,
here
on
is
the
kind
way
of a
up.
tough spot, but yeah.
Yeah. This is around like the upper edge, but like there's a way. Let me see if this is relevant. I think there's a distance range. Okay, within long range for 10 minutes per cipher level. So as we were heading up, we know we're dealing with spirits and things. I have a smoky glass bottle that's filled with oil, cinnamon, graveyard dirt, and 9 open safety pins.
That seems unsafe.
That seems very specific.
It's in a bottle, you know.
Yeah.
Perfectly safe. And I nestle it into the hollow of a tree, keep it hidden, and unstopper.
And what does it do?
The lid. It thins the veil between worlds within long range for 10 minutes per cipher level. You can see all items and creatures that normally can't be perceived or seen, and you gain an asset in interacting with them.
Oh. And Cameron, what did
Terrible
your
for
cipher
you
do?
Specifically.
Mine, which I also have to roll for the level of, it is a defensive charm that lasts a day. I'm going to roll the d6 and get a 6, which means that if something strikes me, if anyone strikes me, which I suppose is relevant in case somebody, in case any of you come up and hit me, you will take 3 damage.
Ooh, very cool.
Wow, spicy.
I dipped it in a creek on Easter morning to enchant it.
Really got to think ahead for these things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do pull out another one that I'll use when it seems like something's about to attack us.
I also have another
Or
thing in my
shortly.
hands, just in case.
Yes. It's there, it's ready. It's a hex bag containing false daisy, devil's shoestring, ginseng root, and a piece of brown paper with all my enemies written on it and crossed out with 3 X's. And I'm about to say the devil can't dance when he's kneeling. And then all my attacks do 2 extra damage. And now it's time for shotgun. Surely we could shoot these suckers.
That's such a great line.
Maybe.
I wish it was in the
Maybe.
song.
It is good.
This
Such
all
a good
turns into a final boss fight as we all start buffing each other as much as
Yeah.
possible.
And then we talk it out. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. Well, Mora, your destination is right there in front of you.
Mhm.
King is on his throne,
Sure is.
or will be soon.
Yep. We're here.
What do you do?
Well, I don't have any crafty plants, so my initial attempt would just be to go down there if no one else has a better idea.
So just arms at your side, the left one gently smoking.
I will say, I do want to, Cameron mentioned that there is something that he couldn't perceive. I do want to look around to see if I can see what he was talking about, or if it's still unseen to me.
Not yet.
Okay. Sus. Yeah. I start walking down carefully.
Yep, you do. You pass through the ring of ash sculptures almost. Approach the Babcock man you met on the train. You feel a little bit of a breeze, maybe? Something stirring. You look kind of beside you and you see the other man, the bigger man. But he's not a man anymore. He's a man-shaped blot of blackness and cinders. He reaches out, puts his hand on your back, and begins to push you toward the tree.
Oh, I hate that.
Cameron, Irene, Rick, Annie. You can see a wavering in the air near Mora. But it could just be a little bit of a dust devil. An errant breeze kicking up the ash. What you can see as the ashen figures rise up from their kind of twisted shapes and spin toward you. Hey, why don't we, you know what? I'm not even gonna have us do initiative. I think y'all guys came prepared. So what do y'all want to do?
So anyway, I started blasting. I am going to get to what I assume is an appropriate shotgun distance away from an ashen figure.
Easy enough. A stride or two forward, right?
And then take aim and shoot.
Do it.
Shotgun has more range than people actually.
Yep.
I can imagine it's far
I know
longer range.
everything.
Does a little bit more damage up close, but it's all good. I'm gonna say. So the difficulty for anything involving these things is going to be 4.
Okay.
I will say though, you have advantageous positioning because you kind of have the upper ground because they're down in a hollow.
Perfect.
So that'll ease it 1.
Cool.
And this is a speed test with firearms.
Speed test with firearms. I hate that. I am practiced with light, medium, and heavy weapons.
There you go.
So that should ease it 1 more. Just checking something. I have something about melee attacks. That's not this. Turns out I'm built for a lot of combat stuff, so now I actually have to pay attention to what all of these things are. Helping people and also fighting. All right, so I think that's going to be then 2, so it's 6 is the target. I'll give it a roll. Got a 13.
There you go. I think a
So
shotgun is medium, right?
Yeah, so normally it's 4 damage, but the devil can't dance when he's kneeling, so that's 2 more damage, so 6 damage.
Oh, well done. A significant chunk of this former individual just is scattered into chunks of ash that kind of splash into dust as they hit the ground. Still coming, though. The good news is, by your count, not all of the bodies have made it here yet. They're probably not real fast. Some of them are probably still on their way. Who else wants to do a thing?
I just have a question about special abilities. Would that be considered like the thing you do, your action, perhaps?
It depends. Some things take, they have a defined amount of time that they take. Like if you spend 10 minutes studying something, that the ability can trigger. But unless otherwise specialized, I don't see why it wouldn't be. Or unless specified otherwise, I don't see why it wouldn't just be an action.
Okay, so for example, encouragement. I feel like that's something you can do in addition to shooting a weapon. Is that am
No,
I
I
correct in that
think
assumption?
I think the intention there is that your focus is on encouraging people,
Okay, cool. All right.
which can be
Who?
a viable tactic, by the way.
What creature is positioning themselves to be the biggest threat to us?
I mean, I'm going to
At
say
this
that there are
moment.
6 of these former people.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna just take my 6-shooter and just pop one in the
Yeah,
head. If
they're all going to
if
be well within range. You want to try to shoot a different one, or you want to shoot the one that Irene just partially dusted?
I think I want to shoot a new one, spread the damage around,
Okay.
see what we can do. Sorry, you said it was 4 at this point.
Difficulty 4.
So eased by guns because I'm trained by
There you
it,
go.
and I will spend a total of 3 speed to make it. What is it? 2. So 2. So roll a 6 or higher. I got a 20.
Ooh. So that is a major effect. So tell me how much damage it normally does. Is it 4?
It
it's a
says
medium?
3, but I believe I get 1 additional for being a gunner.
Okay.
So 4.
So 4 damage, and I think you get 3 or 4 more for the 20.
Oh my goodness!
Uh,
Should aim for a bigger target.
yeah. Or you could choose like a major effect, like you could choose to like, I don't know, blow its legs off or something that will have it won't do a lot more damage, but it will significantly hinder it.
Good
Or you could just
idea.
blow its head off. It won't kill it, but you could blow its head off. Make it blind.
Make it blind. That's a good idea.
Cool. That's more disturbing too. You just stride forward confidently because this is your jam. Aim
Blow
it
your
right
head
between
off.
its eyes, and the head
Set an
just,
example for the rest of
head
the.
just disintegrates. Its arms kind of come up and begin sort of swiping at the air. It doesn't seem to have slowed it down much.
Oh, okay.
What your damage?
Good damage.
What you doing?
All right.
Cameron, what you doing?
I basically have inability of combat here. Is there anything I can, like, now that I'm seeing things in motion, I'm seeing effects, is there anything I can use to try to identify or understand either of those 2 verbs?
I think you find these creatures, their emotionlessness, their strange appearance, and the clear knowledge that these were once people to be very disturbing. I think I'm going to hinder intellect tasks from you by 2.
Oof.
It's a creature specific intrusion. It won't last for a long time, but I think for the next couple of rounds, your intellect like you're trying to go. I think that in the narrative, you're trying to go where Cameron always goes, which is into his head, and it's just like the idea of trying to figure out these things is just anathema.
Yeah. Still gonna go for it. Is there a better option for the understanding or the identifying?
Just a intellect task difficulty 4.
So then understanding, difficulty 4, hindered 2, but then I'm specialized, bringing it back to 4.
Yeah.
And then I will go ahead and expend 2 points and get that down to 3 because we seem to need that with our die rolls today.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, rolling for 9.
Come on, Capper.
Getting an 18.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Good job, bud.
These are no longer people. These are mindless puppets. They are mindless puppets of a being that you've heard whispered. You've never encountered. A creature that embodies wrongness. The thing whose name sounds like Horned Head but is not owns these puppets. They follow his will. I think with an 18, you're going to guess that the man in the tree thinks that he's in control. He is not. He's playing his part too. He may not be mindless, but he is also a puppet.
Got it. Do I think that that's still kind of the local nexus of it, though? Like that's what we need to disable or take out?
Yeah. I think you also know that tools like this tend to be kind of unkillable. You can knock them down, you can chop them to bits, they'll find a way to keep coming. Might take some time.
I'll say to everybody, everything here is just puppets, but the man in the tree's the nexus. But yeah, I've got no ideas of how to go about disabling it right now.
What's Annie doing?
I have a cipher that summons the spirit
Yeah.
thing, and it will attack, or it responds if attacked, and whatnot.
What's the spirit's level?
It's a level 2 spirit.
All right. What form does it take?
Says such as a ghost or a haint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it maybe... Ooh. Is it maybe a relative of yours? Someone who you remember from your childhood that protected you? Is it maybe a childhood friend who was taken by the consumption and now shows up in ghostly form? Maybe play some more hopscotch with you, like you're both little girls again? What do you think?
Yeah.
Cool, which one?
The childhood friend.
Cool. I think what everyone, how that occurs to everyone is you start to hear a voice of a little girl talking to Annie. Annie, can you come out and play? Annie, I don't like this place. Those people seem mean. And then as that voice becomes clearer, you see the air just kind of thicken until there's a little child next to Annie. Stark white eyes, broad smile, little blonde pigtails, washed out color, obviously, slightly transparent. Ooh, it's a fun new game. Kind of like tag. Are we playing tag?
Yes.
All right. And she can attack, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I think she runs forward to one of the figures and kicks it in the shin and says, "Tag, you're it." Maura, what you doing?
Yeah. So I'm being pushed towards the center. Is that what's happening?
Yes.
Yeah. I do have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
I have a cipher that works on a hollow man or empty vessel. Is are based on what Cameron has yelled, I don't know if I really have enough time to process that right this instant, but would all of them be hollow men, or is only the ash bodies hollow men or empty vessels? Or is it unknown? Mystery. Okay. Well, I don't like being pushed, even if I do think I want to get towards the center, actually. I am going to try to dodge away from the smoke monster and yell about the smoke monster that I don't think everyone can see.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to do.
Give me a might defense.
Oh, cool. There's no way that's happening.
Well, you never know.
You never know. You never know.
I'll be nice and say difficulty 4.
Yeah, okay.
That's nice.
Yeah. Well,
it is an evil smoke monster.
It's an evil smoke monster, and you can see him.
Yeah, okay. I do have another question. I do have armor. Does that? I assume that only works against attacks.
Yeah, if it's like physical armor,
relevant.
it would effectively just reduce any might damage you take by 1,
Okay.
or by the value of the armor.
Yeah, it's a magic armor against attacks, deflecting attacks.
Yeah, but it's specifically is it against physical attacks, or does it mention like anything like targeting speed, targeting?
It just says it helps deflect attacks.
Yeah.
I don't know if armor would make it.
It's probably might. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, that's not relevant here. So I roll this this check.
Yeah.
My dice hate me. I rolled a 1.
Oh,
Again.
interesting.
I'm detecting a pattern.
Oh, free intrusion for me.
Again.
The man in the tree's eyes open. You can tell that it's not just that they open, they like, as they open, they roll down because they have been rolled up in his head. And he looks at you for a moment, and then there's a look of recognition on his face, a hungry look. And then he starts working that arm free to reach out and grab you and bring you close.
Cool.
But to answer your question, you were quite certain that at minimum on the ashen figures, that cipher would work.
Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to try it on this guy just because he's dragging me closer to him, whether it works or not.
Cool. So I need Irene, Rick, Cameron, and Annie to give me might defense. I need Maura to give me intellect defense. For everyone but Maura, the difficulty is 4. For Maura, the difficulty is 5.
Gonna spend some pool on that one.
It's a good idea.
Just gonna let her ride.
So if I have
Nope.
an edge in might, because this hasn't come up yet, so I haven't paid attention to the edge rules.
Edge only reduces the cost when you have to spend your pool to execute some effort or activate a skill or anything like that. So if you want,
Effort's normally 3, so it'd be down.
reduce it to 2. Yeah,
I rolled a 5.
well, that ain't gonna cut it.
Nope.
Rick, take 4 at minus any armor you might have.
None.
Cool. Take 4 might.
Oh,
got-
hold on. You're standing next to me, I think, because you had to run past. a little bit to shoot this guy in the head.
You're all real close together.
All right.
I will take a point of your damage.
Oh, okay.
Because I can
Thank you.
do that. Hold on. I'll find it.
How many times can you do that?
I don't know. When I feel like
How many
it.
points of might
I'm
you got?
altruistic.
Yeah, how many
When you're
points of might?
standing next to a creature that takes damage, you can intercede and take 1 point of that damage yourself. It
Yeah.
cannot be blocked with armor. So
Yeah.
I will do that for Rick.
Cool. And what'd you get on your roll, Irene? It sounds like Cameron didn't do too well either.
I also failed because I rolled a 7 and I was just going to use a couple might and that would bring it down. Yeah, I'd be just under.
Oh, okay. So if you spent effort, then that would make a success, right?
Well, I spent what was I at? I was at 4. It was 4 to begin with. So was that a 3 because I spent effort?
Yeah. So that would.
So it's 9.
Yeah.
And I rolled a 7.
Okay, then that's not going to work.
No.
I mean, you can spend 2. You can spend a couple minor boons to make it work.
Good.
Use all the resources.
Do it. Don't save up the mana potions for the last battle.
And we do have 2 minor boons.
Yeah, why shouldn't I use them all?
Cool. That means
I will.
then you'll just take 1 from when you helped Rick. Cameron, sounds like you also didn't roll super fantastic.
I got a 9, but I would like to rely on the jag of luck in my pocket. It's a piece of cloth with dried frog blood on it to re-roll without spending experience.
There you go.
You can spend XP to reroll.
Yeah, it's just not a good use of it usually.
And turn that into a 15.
There you go. Misses you. Annie, how'd you do?
I got a 10.
And yeah, well, that's not going to work, is it? Because your target's 12.
Yeah.
All right, take 4 might. Unless
Take 1 from you too.
Cool. Take 3 might. Now, does Annie have any armor? I don't think she does, but I think she's just wearing clothes. But that would just reduce it further. It wouldn't prevent Irene from taking it. And Mora, did you get a 15?
Unfortunately, I am not joking when I say I rolled a 1.
What are we up
I
to?
even
4?
grabbed a different die. I was like, obviously, I'm being betrayed by the ones I've been using. It's just me.
No, it's a collective agreement amongst your dice to ruin you.
Yeah. Is there anything I can do about that, or does that just happen?
Major boon?
You can use a major boon to re-roll.
Well,
If you have something interesting you want to
well,
do,
it is a 1. So
It's a 1.
You can, but sometimes fate speaks to us through the dice.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it has opinions.
And I'm a big believer in the concept of failing forward. So he reaches out and grabs your arm. The right arm, kind of not knowing what to expect. And there's almost like an electric charge. His hand clamps down hard on you. Take 2 might. You feel as if you have left your body, as if you are floating above this scene. Your friends scrapping with these creatures, the Cinder Man probably awaiting instruction, the snarl on the face of this man in the tree. You lift away from all that and you feel behind you a presence. You slowly look. There is a great stag standing over the land. The soil itself blackening and scorching where his hooves are placed. He appears to be looking over his shoulder, maybe at Backbone Mountain. Kind of hard to tell. But in this moment, the creature's gaze turns to you. Huge horns, glowing as if they're gilded. Soft eyes showing intelligence, concern. Kind of velvety muzzle. And this creature takes a step towards you, and in this vision, the earth cracks. And without speech, he tells you, you can end it. All this strife and struggle. I can place you on a throne. You want this place to be green again? I can make that happen. You want this foolish man to get what he deserves? You want to protect your friends? You want to see your little village thrive and prosper in peace? I can give you all of that. You've been touched. Yes, you would make a good queen. As he kind of looks back and regards you. In this moment, what do you say or do?
Well, I guess I'm thinking about how I do want those things, but this entity feels a little bad, huh?
Does it?
I don't know. I rolled a 1.
Yeah. I think to make it easier for you,
Mm-hmm.
I think you also feel that green, that rage and consumption, nature bloody in tooth and claw, absolutely uncaring. This being cares.
Okay. It's just the burning is what I was
You have
thrown off by.
You have a place.
Mm-hmm.
You have meaning to the thing whose name sounds like Horned Head, but is not.
Uh-huh.
The green couldn't care less. To the green, you're an obstacle or fertilizer. Which side is more brutal, after all? Just because one is imprisoned and one is the jailer doesn't mean that that's justice. Are you really going to turn away such a magnanimous opportunity, a gift?
That's a fascinating question. I don't think I can turn it away.
Irene, Rick, Cameron, Annie, what are you doing?
Oh, we're in the midst of combat. I believe I would be shooting something.
Yeah, I'd also be shooting something. I'm yelling at. I think I'd yell at Cameron like, "Go Go help Mora. Something's up with the middle there. Something about an invisible thing.
I start aiming for
I've
the. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
All right, I start aiming for the attributed the Nexus target that Cameron pointed to, and I just have another go at hitting him.
You're going to have a hard time because Mora is all up in that tree.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can see where he's got a hold of her, but she is pulled up against that tree.
Camden can go deal with that, I think. Let's clear him a path. So whatever is most in the way of Camden that isn't the large scary tree, I'm going to shoot and encourage Rick to find a similar tree.
I have another idea.
Ooh.
I'm going to try Bewitch.
Okay.
Which is, what is it? While talking or singing, you can grab the attention of a creature even if it can't understand you, as long as you do nothing but sing. The creature takes no actions.
Yep.
So I think I would do that to the main guy or the person that's accosting Mora right now.
Yep.
All right, and I believe that's free because I have an edge.
Yeah. You start singing. You start singing at the king in the tree.
Does he care at all?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think his eyes, just his face is racked in pain and also starting to be a look of concern. Almost at the edge of turning into betrayal. And then you start singing at him and his eyes just kind of lock over on you as he sits there holding on to Mora's arm. The Cinder Man 100% notices that, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And like you see this, it's almost like there's an interior, more solid figure that whirls really quickly, and then just the kind of nimbus of cinders around him slowly revolves in the same direction. You see those coal eyes flare as he begins to move in your direction. Annie, what you doing?
Can I stab someone?
Yeah, 100%. Roll with might, target number 12. Are you trained in light weapons?
No.
Okay, target number 12.
While she stabs someone, I do shoot someone.
Excellent. How much damage you do?
It works. 6 damage.
Fantastic. We'll say it's on the same one.
Yeah.
For the sake of argument. And it just into dust. And then that dust starts to kind of wiggle and wriggle like it's trying to pull itself back together.
Dangus.
It's probably going to take it a while. Annie, what'd you get on your roll?
A 10.
Cool. I mean, you slash at one of these things. It just catches ash. Doesn't seem like it's super effective. Hey, Cameron, you going to try to do something about what's happening down there?
Yeah. With the way getting somewhat cleared, kind of, running and dodging and ducking my way over to Mora. Try to, I don't know whether it's shaking her awake at this point or convincing her or trying to wrench, whatever it is out of her mind.
All right. So I think you have no difficulty just kind of, because these things aren't actually super fast. It's mostly the Cinder Man that you need to worry about. He seems to be a lot quicker and not mindless. But you are able to dodge forward. And are you gonna grab a hold of Mora?
Yeah.
And you got that mystic sense, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, you put your hand on Mora, and you are very aware of what she's aware of. Mora, there is a attenuated, ghostly presence. His voice sounds almost like the voices on the wireless. Tinny, sometimes hard to understand. A little, things aren't just quite right. You get that kind of crackling static. But you're aware that somehow Cameron is partly with you. Cameron, that thing that the mere thought of has upset you so is looking at you. What you trying to do? What is you going to try to do? Remember, anything intellect related is hindered by 2 steps.
Yeah. I mean, get up there first thing. Just try to wrench Mora away from it.
Away from what? You're floating in the air. Away from the gaze of a thing that name sounds just like Horned Head, but somehow it isn't. What is his name? You have it there almost for a second, but then it slips out of your mind. Almost like if you knew his name, it would be helpful. But you keep coming back to it. Sounds like Horned Head, but it isn't.
Can I just like turn her, like try to get eye contact?
You can certainly attempt to influence, speak to, attract her attention. She's aware that you're there.
Yeah, that's. I'm going for the human connection. I'm going for the pull her out that way. So I guess probably intellect. Still.
Yeah, you can try to persuade, basically.
Yeah. I will spend to ease again.
Now, Mora, how easy do you think it's going to be for him to convince you? And don't tell me super easy.
Well, I was thinking it'd be somewhat difficult because I was just about to agree with this entity before me. It cares so much.
I think it's probably going to be hard. Let's see what he rolls, and then you can decide if it's high enough to give you pause.
And because of our conversation overnight, like I lean into the green. I lean into the like the green wants you. The green wants to protect you. This is not part of the green. Spending 2 points to ease and rolling a 17.
Ooh.
That feels good.
Feels good.
Yeah.
Mora, at the mention of the green at first, and there's a warm, rumbly, baritone chuckle from the stag, as if, bringing up such things. Because clearly the green doesn't care about anyone or anything. Certainly not people like you. You remember what happened. She was there. She pulled you out. She extracted a price from you. She didn't offer you power, peace. She didn't offer you prosperity, influence, joy. She simply picked you up and told you how it would be. Before I tell you what she wanted you to do, are you going to do it?
Yes.
Because you have agency. You can choose one side or the other. There's a very cruel, careless demand and a generous, generous offer. What do you choose?
Yeah, I think with Cameron's voice trying to root me back to where I'm not being tempted by this thing before me. I'm remembering what I owe, that maybe it didn't offer me riches, but it did offer me my life. And so I will do what the green has asked.
All right. Maura, would you like to do that in the form of a player intrusion? Or do you want to leave it to the roll of the dice?
Player intrusion.
Very well. So what she said was that she was giving you a seed and that you were to plant it in the heart of darkness. Cameron, you feel like you see a look on Maura's face, and it's almost like a light shines on her. Not this golden, warm, alluring, reflected light from the great stag, but a clear, stark light of the sun from nowhere just shines on her face. You see Maura reach up that right hand and plunge it into her chest. You see her pull out her heart, half of it coal black cinder, half of it green living wood and vine. You see her hold it in both hands, split it apart, pause maybe for just a moment, as he whose name sounds like Horned Head but is not, say, "Remember, there is an easier way." And then there's you know how deer sound, that almost trumpeting, honking noise? It's that, but somehow filled with rage. You can feel, everyone can feel the earth beneath you shake as Maura, now you're both back there in front of this tree, and Maura just takes this living green part of her heart and shoves it into the tree through the man who is now fixated on Rick, deep into the heartwood of this tree. And you draw your hand back. The ashes collapse. The Cinder Man flits away, doesn't disperse, but almost like pushed back as if by a great wind. The man in the tree, the would-be king, a trickle of black blood flows out of his lips and down his chest into the gaping hole where you have planted the green into his heart. What happens?
I wrap an arm around Mora, make sure that she just ripped her heart out. Does it look like she's gonna survive this?
Give me an intellect. Any healing skills you might have would apply. I think it's probably a 4. You can tell me.
All I actually have related to healing is herbalism.
That might apply. And not hindered by 2 anymore.
Great. I'll just go ahead and keep training my own intellect down to 10 now then.
There you go.
Use that to get it back down to a 3. And then get a natural 20.
Wow.
Well, she didn't have a heart anymore, which is kind of concerning.
Yeah.
But she seems very much alive. Almost as if something is keeping her alive. Something that when she agreed to owe it, didn't realize that that debt would be permanent. That even this act is not enough to balance the books. Or this is how the green works. It saved you in that moment and will extract its price from you forever. You are now, very literally, your life depends upon the green. So have fun with that.
So try to like, still like catch her, kind of set her down, wave the others over, like this is weird. This is still a little bit beyond me. It's I don't know. Start trying to like pad away blood, like pull out bandages.
Oh, there isn't any blood. There's no wound.
Just cleanly pulled out. Okay.
She just weighs about 1.5 pounds less than she did before.
Brand new weight loss program.
Yeah.
And the good news is those spidery, tendrily marks on you are now pearly white.
Okay, so do I not have a charred hand anymore?
Oh, no, it's all good. You're fine.
All right.
No
I think,
negative consequences at all.
Yeah, except I don't have a heartbeat anymore.
Well, that's true. It kind of almost sounds like there's a rustling in there. It's a weird feeling.
Normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely just having a moment of like looking at my hands, like, patting myself down, going like, so I'm still in one piece. Fascinating.
Yeah. Well, I think once you've caught your breaths, I think it probably occurs to you all that it's not a particularly pleasant place to be. I think as you gather yourselves up and begin to walk away, you can see that the twisted stump, the twisted trunk of this tree is greening. I think towards the bottom you can see it sending out probing roots. I think as you walk away, you can see in your footsteps sprouts, strange, growing up out of the ash. I think Annie takes you a minute to realize that your little friend from Sunday school is still with you for some reason. Almost like it got too crowded in your head and she decided to be with you in a more traditional way, at least for a time. Irene, clearly none of this is as it appears. Can't be.
Just a trick of the light.
It's a trick of the light.
Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yes.
We'll pray on it.
Yes. And Rick, I think you're inspired. I think you thought that the verse you wrote this morning was the final verse.
I already have a rewrite. It's pretty simple. The last line is just aid the valley. We crowned no queen.
Or maybe you're working on it. Where is it? Queen crowned in green?
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there's a queen in this valley.
Ah.
It just isn't Mora.
Very good. Queen crowned in green. And I write the last line in my book of American folk music.
So you make your way back to Davis, dusty, tired, hungry. Stop in, I'm sure, at Cameron's cabin to freshen up a bit, make your way back into town, see how things are going. Mr. Jefferson seems to have taken rather ill, in fact. Some sort of rapid onset disorder. It appears to make him incredibly sensitive to light. He is waiting on a special car from the east-west route to come and bring him a sealed one. Apparently, it's an old family affliction that flares up now and then. But the word from the sheriff is that he'll be concluding the investigation for the time being. But that he was very clear that Mr. Jefferson and his superiors will be keeping their eyes on Davis because they're not quite sure they like what's happening here. It doesn't seem like there's sufficient loyalty to the company. Or so you hear from the sheriff. Maybe over a illicit beer or whiskey. The bodies that hadn't walked away are removed and buried in the half-dug graves. And life moves on in Davis, with very few people being any the wiser about the struggle that is currently occurring, except for the folks whose lives are intimately caught up in it. So, well done. Congratulations. All's well that ends well. Fantastic. Hey, why don't you tell people who you are and if you're around here, where people can see you. I think we started with Morris. Let's start with Misha this time.
Yep, I'm Misha_lesson3. You usually can see me around here or on the Juices TV program. Speaking of around here, I think this Saturday, the Fallout game will conclude, I hope. It's been a scheduling fun time. And also in the Discord, I do have a poll out for some Call of Cthulhu games. They're just one-shots. I know there's a lot of dates there, but I'm just going to schedule a few of them that are there. So if you're interested in that, head over to the Discord.
Yeah, Shanks.
Hey, how's it going? I'm the Shanks Master General. I played Rick Schlink. He was a fine cursed musician. You can find me on Twitch TV, Shanks Master General. You can also find me. I actually wrote the song while I played this game with these fine people. So I'm actually going to figure out a vocal melody and some chords for it. So you'll find that on YouTube. I think it's also Shanks Master General, so you can find me there. And I play in a real band, the Dreadnoughts. You can find us on Spotify or iTunes. The Dreadnoughts, DREADNOUGHTS. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Capper.
Hi, I've been Capper or Capperson. I first time here and hope to be around here more often in the future.
Yeah.
Sin.
I am Sinner Sinful__potato here on Twitch. I do stream. I don't know if I'll be streaming the rest of this week. Maybe on Friday. I don't know. I've been playing Annie Spudnik. There is a potato there somewhere. It's fine. It's cool. Zero hates it.
It's fine.
It's lovely. On Thursday, I don't know if I'll be streaming or not, but if not, then I'll be in other people's streams because we'll be playing a game, and it's gonna be super fun. So if you don't see me but you hear me on the interwebs on Thursday, that's why. And then I don't know when the next time I'll be here is, so yeah, I'll be around. No.
All right, I'm Mel. I've been playing as Mora, and I don't stream, but you'll see me around here sometime, probably for a Call of the Cthulhu game.
Cool. Oh, that's me. Yeah, and I'm 00 Daylight Michael, DM, GM, Keeper of Arcane Lore, narrator of all sorts. Thanks everyone for playing. So this has been a short little trilogy in the Cypher System game, meant to kind of help everyone tell stories in more or less the world of the fabulous kind of folk horror podcast, Old Gods of Appalachia. If you are not familiar with the podcast, go seek it out. Very, very popular, still ongoing. We are not using any of the characters, and in fact are in a different part of the mountains than the podcast takes place, but it is intended to very much be in that kind of vibe. They are much better storytellers than I or we are, so go check that out. Props where props is due. Check out Monty Cook, Cypher System. There's lots of different versions or settings for Cypher System. So it's applicable to sci-fi, horror, classical fantasy, and some really interesting kind of creative fantasy settings that the studio has put out. So give them a look as well. And I think folks have done a pretty good job of letting you know what's going on. So come hang out with us on the Discord. Come hang out with us if you're not already there right now watching this on YouTube. Come hang out with us on the YouTube. We got a pretty substantial back catalog. And hey, if you made it this far, why not just drop like a subscribe or a like or something down there? We don't do this for clout or certainly not for money, trust me. But we do it for fun. But it's always good to know that people enjoy what we're up to and it's not just us having fun. So great, awesome. Well, I think we'll say goodbye to our friends on the YouTubes and then we'll come back and talk a little bit with folks on Twitch and then right out. So goodbye, YouTube. See you again soon.